So rook to h2 would be winning here. If black moves the bishop, you just take the pawn as well. There's no check anymore as the rook covers the square. But Vishy doesn't find it. Instead, he plays his move rook to e1. Now, this actually really surprised me. You're going to see that this is a theme throughout this video, is that I expected Vishy to be significantly sharper than Gary because he's played more classical chess in recent years. And so I was sort of expecting, he's also a little bit younger. He's 55 years old, whereas Gary is 62. Not that the age necessarily makes a huge difference, but I expected Vishy to be a little bit sharper and have stronger intuition in these low time situations. But instead he simply doesn't show it. He plays rook e1. Now we get bishop g4, and as you can tell here, if white takes the pawn after check and knight f3, this knight forks the rooks and the bishop, and now white is in all kinds of trouble. So Vishy goes bishop c1. But now after the move knight to g3, again white is somehow winning here. I'm a little bit surprised that Gary didn't play knight c5 here, threatening b3 or d3, as well as guarding the pawn on e6. This speaks to the fact that it's clear that both players are struggling a little bit. When they're getting low on time, they're making some mistakes that they would not have made in the past. However, I will caution before people think it's some kind of rant about being negative about Gary or Vishy, that this happens to everybody. In fact, recently there was a match played in Dallas, Texas between the USA and India, and in that match there was one specific game that comes to mind between Levi Rosman, Gotham Chess, and Sagar Shah, who runs Chess-Based India. Now, they played a blitz game, and Sagar played great. He was showing tremendous skills, great class, outplaying Levy pretty much the whole game, and then when Sagar got down to about 5 seconds, he simply collapsed and couldn't keep it together. And that was 100% a byproduct of the fact that Sagar does not really play much chess anymore, and just it all fell apart when he got low on time. So, this does happen to everybody. It's clear that both players are struggling a little bit, but the show goes on. So we get knight g3. And now Vishy plays move rook to g1 here. Rook to h6 would have been much stronger, hitting the pawns on h6 or h7 and e6. Instead, he goes rook g1. We get knight e2, rook h1, and now we get the move bishop f3. Now, white is still better here. Probably in suspicion, Vishy should have played rook to f1, but honestly, with black pushing these pawns here on the queen side, it's a very chaotic situation, and I think any result is possible. So we get rook h1. Gary plays bishop f3, attacking the rook. We get rook h3, bishop to e4. And now it's white who has to be careful because Gary's gotten the classic wooden shield here. This great bishop on e4 that's hitting the pawn and the king. The bishop is loose. There's b3. And Vishy finds the move b3, stopping any pawn throws. But now Gary goes rook c7, attacking the pawn on c2. And fortunately for Vishy Anand here, there is a way to bail out and make the draw. He takes the pawn, we get takes, and after check, we have to move king f7 here. If Gary were to go king d7, there would be rook h7, rook to c8, and now white would win the game. So we get king f7, check, and the game ends by repetition with a draw.